Papers now. We've got the radio presenter James Max, and we've got the author Helen Croydon. Very nice to see you both. Helen, we begin with you, and this is in the Times about the jobless, and they may lose what?
A share in the equity of their home if certain plans go ahead by ministers.
Well, that's nice. So when you're down, kick you harder then.
It's a very, very controversial scheme. Unemployed
So it's
homeowners.
always people who have something lose something, and people who have nothing gain everything. So.
Yeah, now presumably the idea is that if they are claiming benefits and they happen to be a property owner, then further down the line when they come to sell that property, the state can claim a share of that back.
What's your initial reaction to that, James?
My initial reaction to that is if politicians agree that when they sell their second homes, which have been funded by taxpayers, then maybe this is a good idea. Otherwise, you know what, leave people's assets out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable that in a democracy the state could even consider doing this, because it's not for they're not thinking of claiming back equity if they've been paying a share, you know, paying off the mortgage. It's just the interest. Now everyone has to pay interest on their mortgage. It's just the same as someone paying rent. So the fact that the welfare system was created to help people who've fallen on
hardships. But every time they talk tough, nothing happens. I'm just seeing here a plan to make visitors from what are termed high-risk countries pay a bond when they enter the country of £3,000. The Home Secretary has said that there would be pilots for what's called security bonds. Guess what? It's been scrapped.
It's been scrapped because a whole load of people realised how daft it was. It's another daft plan, which again deals with symptoms and not causes. Unless you deal with causes, you and I and us all, taxpayers, we end up paying more because we're playing political games. We're not dealing with the real issues.
The immigration situation in this country just seems to be, it seems to beggar belief. Now we've got a situation where, front page of the Telegraph today, they're saying that immigrants fill 1 in 5 of skilled British jobs, and you want employers now who are saying they want more skilled people from abroad, more skilled graduates. We've got hundreds, thousands of graduates with no job. How does this add up?
It adds up because getting a job isn't just about the skills that you have, it's the ethics that you employ when you get that
And the
job.
type of degree that you've got.
And the type of the degree, and also whether your degree actually taught you anything. And what we've got in this country is we've got a significant minority who come out with degrees that aren't worth the paper that they're printed on, that aren't able to do basic jobs because they don't have those skills that employers want. And some of those skills are sort of intangible skills, like whether it's communication or whether it's hard working or ethics or ability to communicate. That we've got foreign students coming in with better English in terms of verbal and written as well, than we've got people coming out of our schools and universities. I don't know where
we're going. Do you really believe that?
It's true. I've interviewed. I've been in charge of recruitment.
I mean, so 1 minute where we were told that they've got degrees which are soft degrees.
Yes.
Well, surely the soft degrees are very arts orientated most times. So surely that gives them the communication skills that they need. Why do you need somebody from outside?
No, but you see, this is the point. That we're not talking about a vast majority of people who go to university here in the UK are excellent students, work really hard, that we have a core who are fantastic and great at doing what they do. However, we have a significant minority who not only fall off the scale after they go to school, that's one selection of youngsters. We've also got another selection of youngsters who go to less qualified universities and come out with fewer qualifications.
Well, they do it at their own risk because they come out of university with huge debts now. So if they aren't putting the effort in, then they deserve the consequences.
It's all very depressing. In the Times, Helen, fruit and veg, families aren't buying it because they reckon it's expensive, and when they try to cut costs, they cut the fruit and veg.
Yes, we're spending 8.5% less on food than we did at the beginning of the economic turndown. And we're all switching to processed foods which are less per calorie than fresh fruit and veg. Now, I think this is a really sad story and quite worrying. And I think what this boils down to is there's too much awareness these days and too much focus on eating less, staying slim, not not becoming obese. We all know that. But there's very little focus on the health campaigns about actually what you eat and the nutritional value of food. And I think that's far more important than telling people to cut down or to cut down on calories. You know, you only have to sort of look at all the diet marketed food out there, and it's all processed. It's all full of rubbish, and people aren't eating the fruit and veg. And I think it's incredibly sad that
people say that more action should be taken on price, because we did the story the other day about the amount of salads, of, you know, even basic things like apples that are thrown away in supermarkets because they don't get sold. Why don't they then look at bringing the price down so that actually all of those
and
could
having
get sold?
more offers on healthy, non-processed products, rather than putting all the offers on food that's marketed to families, that's low budget. You know, because I think it's also a lot to do with availability. If you're out and about and you need to get your lunch or something, there's so much processed convenience food available, very little fruit and veg.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, who am I to talk about eating healthily and staying slim? The thing is, I think I do eat healthily because I'm very conscious about the things that I shove in my gob. I'd probably just shove too many things in there. But I think you're absolutely right to talk about processed food, the way supermarkets have behaved in terms of the things that they push, the things that they bring down in price. And if we'd all looked at each other, when I was growing up, you know, if you'd said, well, people are going to go off and buy bottled water, or they're going to, you know, pay premium for vegetables that have been sliced and chopped and shoved in bags or packets for you because people can't be bothered to eat an apple in the way that they used to.
Well, I love oranges. I love oranges. And it's very hard to get a decent orange.
It is, because they taste of nothing.
I'm a bit of an orange connoisseur, and they're dry and...
Very difficult to get one that doesn't splash everywhere as well.
I'm talking about big orange. I like big orange. Sometimes we excuse those Satsuma things or mandarins. A big orange. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, it gets worse. Brussels banning powerful vacuum cleaners.
Well, this is an extraordinary story. I mean, you have
a good... I'm trying to be careful with the word here, but you know what I mean? Suction.
You like it? Yes. So, before we go down that route, European Commission eco rules. What they're saying is that new vacuum cleaners must not exceed 1,600 watts. And you might say, well, hang on a second, what does that mean, for example, for my Dyson?
A hairdryer can be 1,600 watts.
Well, it can be.
I've just bought one over 2,000 watts.
Have you?
Powerful one, yeah.
Wow.
Blow all the dust that doesn't get picked up with a vacuum, the hairdryer blow it all around.
But it gets worse. Because in addition to this reduction in 1,600, just to put it in context, the most powerful Dyson is 1,400 watts. So it doesn't affect your Dyson yet. But in 2017, the EU rules will then make the top suction figure of 900 watts.
What's the reason for this?
They say because it's about energy use, and we've all got to be eco about it. But what Mr. Dyson argues, which I think is an absolute, you know, absolutely core to this, is he says, look, what about all the waste that goes in? If you have a bag, which Dysons don't, then he's saying that they use all sorts of energy.
We should point out that other vacuum cleaners are available.
They are. Well, of course, we all used to call it hoovering, which we don't anymore.
Yes.
Or we do call it hoovering, but we're using another brand.
Also, it's a more powerful hoover then. It's more efficient at getting the dirt up, so it would do it quicker, so you wouldn't have to run it for as long.
And you don't have to hoover as much.
And it's not as much fun. You need a good amount of suction.
We will debate all of this. When I was young, if me and my brothers were very good, on a Saturday, my dad would bring us into Woolworths, and we would get a dot-to-dot book.
Oh,
and I was 21 at the time, but it's a special treat. You would get a dot-to-dot book in Woolworths, and I always looked forward to a dot-to-dot book. I usually knew, it was always that surprise of what is this going to create, this picture, when you join up these dots. Now, Helen, this one may be a bit of a shocker that you're going to talk about in the Times today.
Well, I just hope no one is eating their cornflakes right now. But a new version of the Kama Sutra is out, and yes, it's dot-to-dot. They vary between 60 to 80 dots, depending on the complexity of the position.
Yeah, you'd be saying, oh, what's this? Oh, where's this going?
And apparently the creators say they were very difficult to create because you can get lost in the different body parts, and the genital areas were the most difficult to create because they required the most dots, apparently.
Wow.
In case people might get lost, you see, when they're joining the dots.
Why?
Why are they? Exactly. Why would you buy a Kama Sutra
Well,
and then sit in bed and do dot to dot?
Version
I personally would.
will go on sale for £6.98, which is a strange price. £6.98 as opposed to £7 or
£6.99.
yes, £6.99.
And what do you-
£6.98 on November the 7th.
And what are you saying to somebody? Because that's a sort of Christmassy sort of present. I mean, what is it saying when you start giving these things away to people?
How many people could you give that to as a Christmas present, though, really? Realistically?
Oh, your mum.
And where would you do the
Well, I
dot to
still
dot?
think it's more preferable than thinking about James Max talking about how he uses his hairdryer.
What's got a revelation in the ad break?
There's nothing better than on a cold day drying yourself off after you've had a shower with a hairdryer. Yes, please, thank you.